All right. Well, hey, Jeff.
Hi, Lou.
So this is the very first attempt at a beer league podcast, and maybe no one will ever see this, but hopefully they do, and if they we'll upload it to YouTube, and we'll see if we get 3 or 4 viewers.
I think we'll have to wait till the end of this rather to think rather whether or not we're going to share it with others.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm prepared. I've got a few things like at my ready. So but we'll just we'll see how it goes. So I was at your house just a little over a week ago, so I know where you're sitting. I think you're sitting on the couch or the love seat. Is it the couch?
Oh, I'm on the couch. Yeah,
Couch. Okay. All
I
right.
got old Frankie boys curled
Oh,
up
there he
next to me
is.
here.
Good doggy. Yeah. Well, well, I had a real good time coming out, even though it was really short because I came out like late Thursday.
Yeah, it was winter. It's been too long, way too long.
4 years.
I know.
I'd never seen that trophy before in person, so it was nice to see it. It is big, and I realize now that it's a softball, not a baseball on top of
Yeah, it depends on your perspective. I mean, it's a larger than life baseball.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, the older I get, I guess the more sentimental I get. And when Norm left on Sunday morning, right before you took me to O'Hare, I was a little sad, sort of, like maybe it wasn't quite enough time, like maybe we need another day, or at least a full Thursday or something. I don't know. It was really rushed.
Next year, come in Wednesday.
Yeah, it was fun. Actually, Chad mentioned about coming out on Wednesday, maybe staying over his place, and then we'd come into Chicago on Thursday. At least come in hopefully a little earlier on Thursday than we did because that was I
Yeah, it was
had
more
some.
more along the lines of the afternoon, so most of the day was already gone. And then
Yeah, well,
you broke your habit of going straight to Pizza Due.
yeah, no, I didn't go to do it. But yeah, I came in what like 7 o'clock or something. It wasn't ideal. I didn't book my flight till in February. And when I was really crazy, I used to book it like in September. So I had like the best seat on the best
Best
choice of
seat,
flights.
best seat, and best rate.
So, but and old Normie, he got back in 2 days. He was leaving himself a third day, but he actually got back Monday at around 6 his time or something like that. He said. So I calculated out it was like 39 hours, which is pretty good time for, to go to Arizona. I don't know.
Did you
Makes
eat
good
any of his
people.
cheese?
I did not. I did not. It
That
was
shit looked like it was fucking glass.
it
It
was
was so
hard
hard.
cheese. We were all worried that Norm was going to slice his hand or something,
I
but
know he
he
had
did.
that little ass cutting board and a little cleaver.
Yeah, he did a good job. He did a
Yeah.
good job.
All you had to do was smack it with a hammer. It would have broke into about 19 pieces.
So this auction this year was the year of Bill Burr. That's we've always watched something at your place, like, and it helps me remember which year it was. Like we had the one year we watched Sausage Party, and
Yeah.
the one year we watched the Jinx. About Robert Durst, is that his name? Robert
Yeah.
Durst?
We watched like that whole, you guys watched that whole series.
Yeah, and we watched the what 80s heavy metal band was that we watched? Um, the documentary, not Def. I don't. Well, maybe it was Def Leppard, but I don't think it was Def Leppard. It's
Documentary. I can't remember.
but anyway. But each year we've watched something like that. That's kind of defined. Dave Chappelle that we did one year. We just watched a bunch of Dave Chappelle, and this year was Bill Burr.
I don't think you could really go wrong with good stand-up.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, I think I laughed myself to sleep that one
well,
night. What was it? Was it Saturday night?
the last night we watched probably the fourth Bill Burr thing that we watched, and toward the end he was like talking about his dog, how he had to give away his problem dog,
Oh yeah.
and you guys have been laughing your asses off like the whole time. So I should have suspected that you were asleep. But you guys, and I thought, oh, it's just because Jeff's a dog guy. He's like really taking this to heart, and
No.
and you just lost your dog, too. But I looked. I finally, after about 5 minutes, I mean, longer than I should have. I looked. Norm was asleep, and I looked at you. You were sitting up to sleep. So I was the only one that saw the end of that one. So.
Yeah, I think Norm and I, you know, maybe you really had a really bad fart or something and just knocked both of us out. That's
So
no, I mean, I think we fell asleep right around the same time. I
yeah,
don't
it
know.
wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, I know that you. It must have been just in the last 5 minutes, whatever. But then I sort of like meekly. I turned the volume down for you guys, so like you guys could still have the volume of the TV as a soothing background thing, and but not so loud that you would wake up, and then I went to
I think I woke up around somewhere around like 3 o'clock in the morning in that same position. Got up and went into the bedroom and went to bed.
bed.
Oh, that's a lot of drinking for one weekend.
Yeah, it was good. That beer, Moody Tongue, I think it was the aperitif Pilsner or Pilsner aperitif. I mean, I loved it. It was so smooth, and I asked for it here, and they don't have it here, and I don't know if they have it anywhere in Connecticut or just that store. But I know they're out of Michigan, right? It's a brewery out of Michigan, I think.
No, actually, it's out of Chicago.
Oh, jeez. Well, that stuff I liked. I want to get some more of that.
Yeah, I think they consider that area Bronzeville. It's just on the other side of 55 from the
Okay,
South Loop.
it's Moody Tongue, right?
Booty tongue.
Yeah. Because I asked the girl at the liquor store, it's like, "Do you have Moody Tongue?" And I realized, hopefully, she understood that I was asking about a beer. So I wasn't trying to be rude. Honest. So
Baseball season is up.
that's right. So we had our first half a week, and did anybody get fooled? Do you think by my April Fools?
I did not.
You did not. I tried to make it sound like a regular. I did my normal stupid comments that I do that aren't funny. Like he got shot out of the chute and all this kind of stuff. But nobody said, "Hey, you got me."
We knew it was a little too early for the results of the week to come out. So,
The 0.3 results. Yeah, we've never gone less than half a week. So
uh-oh, this just in. Cubs lost to the Reds 7-6. Son of a bitch.
I know you and Bizzotti started out 0-3.
Yeah, well, you know what? I have some fours and fives, and they didn't get a chance to pitch yet, so they're going to pitch in the beginning of this week, and that's why the beginning of my week kind of, that 1 3 day span right there kind of suffered because I just didn't have the pitching going like some of you other guys did. And that's what it boils down to with 0 in 3 weeks.
I mean, I think we're like 2% of the way through the season, so it's still pretty early. Still pretty.
And also, I never like to drop anybody this early. I've never been one of those guys that's just like, oh, fuck. He didn't get a hit in his first game. Jerk. I like him better. Bring him in.
I didn't realize until to last night. You know how when I put the auction rosters together, I don't like to update these things from the previous season, like the teams and all that stuff. But I realized if I had a position the guy didn't qualify at on the auction rosters, it might screw things up. So I did try to update those, and hopefully they were probably nearly all correct. But I had Brian Reynolds qualifying at left field, and I didn't have another left fielder besides McCutcheon. So that was important to me because I like to have a backup at each position. At least one backup at each of the positions. And I was just going through. I was going through the season naked because Reynolds did not qualify at left field, and I was like, oh, I thought Yahoo changed things midstream. They must have, how dare they like just change, take away his position eligibility, And then I looked at the things that I sent out before, and no, it always said just center field. So, anyways, so I did drop an outfielder and picked
Actually
up.
bringing up the site right now to see if who's got the most moves so far 4 days into the season.
Well, my graph is always like I'm always near the top in the beginning because of the NA thing. Because I only update my NA players once a year, and then I kind of like go back to the pack as time goes on. So I'm more of a buy and hold guy, but in the beginning I do a lot of NA. I made 6 NA claims.
Well, that I did. I made like 4 and got rid of a couple guys that, they're just not so shiny anymore, you know?
Well, my goal is to have NA guys that won't come up this year. Last year I got burnt. I had 3 guys come up, and I'm not going to play them. That's just I don't do that, and I want to have good NA players to trade to other folks, but I'm hoping that they don't come up that year. Like I hope I have a whole off season to try to trade them. But last year I had Michael Harris, Corbin Carroll, and Francisco Alvarez, and they weren't supposed to come up, at least according to the books I had, but they did come up. So I
All
lost them
right.
for nothing. So
So here's the amount of moves so far, 4 games into the season. Aging Dr. Satchel has 28.
that's a lot of moves.
Yeah. Capital Knockers, 22. Gambler Spear, 21. And we've got Lou, 16.
16. Jeez.
Yeah. And we got Let's Play 162. We got 14. Holy Cow's 11. I'm sitting at 7. I'm tied with Sean. And then we've got 4 Bizzotti, 2 Big McBrides, and 1 Hack Experience.
So everybody's made one move.
Everybody's made at least 1 move.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be 28. You can just make one,
Hack is on to a record. Hack Wilson is on to a record year in moves for him. He's got 1 through 4. That's way above his average.
So let's see.
Interesting. Very interesting. Now, the amount of dollars people shelled out some cash. Capital Knockers down to 58 of their waiver budget.
I think I forgot to even address that, but I did move the free agent budget down to 75. And
What was it, 100?
it was 122 years ago, but I wanted to move it to where each dollar was an important bid to go up. I don't know. I'm hoping psychologically that it encourages people to spend some of their money. I don't know. There was a formula I calculated that it's believe it or not, it's exactly $5.97 per waiver claim for the entire league, and then divide that by the number of guys in the league. Now, of course, I divided that by 12 when we were going to have 12, but we'll see how the 75 works out. If it's not enough, if we have a ton of waiver claims this year, then it'll go up. And I kind of like it.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean it's all relative, but I don't want it to be too small that a dollar isn't enough of a difference. But I didn't want us to have $1,000 like some leagues do, where a dollar, what the hell does it mean? It's hard. So
Well, there are some of those guys that come out mid-season that not as much anymore, but they kind of come out of nowhere crushing the ball that are on waivers right away. And people put their claims in for him. Maybe he wasn't on a 40-man roster at the time.
yeah,
So
well,
there has been a few of those players that leak through. And then, you got that budget to work with. So if you really want them, you can save that budget, pony up for them. Or everybody that you go after, maybe you do two bucks instead of 1, just to make sure you get them if you think nobody else is on to them. I don't know. It's interesting.
There's some leagues that are NL or AL only, and like those leagues, you want to save up money before the trade deadline, because then you're going to get potentially like a Juan Soto is going to change leagues or something. You want to make sure you have some money for that, but we don't have that because we use both leagues. So, but I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. I'm I'm not tied to $75. I did want it to be kind of like easily divisible by three, because that's our thing. Like if you have 75, you can't trade away more than 25 or gain more than 25. So the least a team is going to have is 50, and the most a team is going to have is 100 this year. So anyway,
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I know that there's a logic in using more of your budget earlier in the year because they can impact your team for a longer part of the season too. So I mean, there's that, and I go by that philosophy too. But I haven't made a waiver claim yet. I don't know if I'm going to soon, so we'll see.
Who's the top three teams? If and looking after the draft here, and I know things have changed a little bit here in the first 4 days, stuff, guys got dropped or whatever and back out there. But just going by the draft and looking at draft boards, which I'm trying to bring up right now.
Well, I did the KOD stuff, so
Kiss,
that's the only fair way I could like base it on. It's based on RotorWire's projections on Yahoo. And I use a best case scenario. Like if you have let's say you have a shortstop who's projected for 200 points, but there's a replacement out there with 350. I'm going to give you the replacement stats. So like it kind of bunches all the teams together. It's a little, it's not perfect, but you're not punished for not jibing with the Yahoo projections, very much, like I don't know how good those projections are right away. I know they're not the best, but I was lazy this year and I didn't use the ATC, the Ariel T. Cohen projections, because
yeah,
he does a consensus. He there's other places that use a consensus of projections, like the Zeal projections at Fantasy Pros, I think it is. But he actually does his consensus for each statistic. So he'll get the consensus for doubles, and then he'll weight all the So it's a very complicated process. But actually, he has in the past 3, 4, 5 years. I think he's pretty much done the best, even though he actually does not produce any projections himself. So he kind of gets derided. I think among some of the people that are actually doing the hard work and doing the projections, because he doesn't do that, but he's just he's doing what you should do as a fantasy player, and like it's use a consensus approach. It's usually smarter than any one person. So
right. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Out of the four teams that I think are pretty good, really good looking teams right now, uh, I like Mr. Larkin's team a lot. Once he gets Bryce Harper back, if he plays well, it may be a pretty good run at it. Steiger has a pretty impressive squad himself. So he's got some pretty decent pitching mixed with really pretty decent hitting. Who knows? Another one I'm looking at here is Mr. Kimmler. His team looks pretty solid. He had a couple of additions there, picking up Eloy Jimenez, Tim Anderson, and then Phil. Jesus Christ, what do you got to say about Phil, man? He just seems to be in on all the good young hot guys right now. Not to mention, I'm not trying to make that sound a certain way, but I mean he knows all the prospects that are just going to go off. You know, so anyway, he's got a pretty good squad himself. So I don't know.
yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
scary.
When it
It's
comes down to it,
scary.
it's all going to be about injuries and who's in your lineup and who is not.
Yeah, I mean it's scary when Phil's team comes off as the top team according to KOD, because there's a lot of times where he doesn't get the respect in the projections, but through his in-season management, and it's hard to gauge somebody like Phil's team with projections because there's so much I don't know, interchanging or whatever going on. So I guess that's a little scary for this year if you're not Phil, if you're the
Right.
other 10 people that KOD even said they're like, yeah, he looks pretty good, but they also like Larkin, and they like Norm and Chad's team, and Chad and Doug are usually teams that KOD does like, You know, and sometimes they finish the money, sometimes they don't. But this year I thought it was funny that I'm not going to say who came out in the bottom according to KOD, because I don't believe that KOD is a very good system, you know, and it didn't like my team very much either, by the way.
So it
But it
was my
didn't.
team.
No, no, no. But it didn't have Baked as the last place team, and it was kind of funny because I did my own assessment of the keepers,
Okay.
and I think that like Kimmler and Phil, like I can't remember exactly Chris, but it had Doug's keepers, even with um, Edwin Diaz and Gary Sanchez as being two of the keepers. It had his keepers is like the third or fourth best keepers in the league. You know, so there's other guys in his team
So who
that
was
did
the
that
who
way.
was the last place in Kiss of Death?
No, I don't want to say. I don't
Oh,
want to.
come on.
It's because
You
it's
say who
lousy.
the tops were. I mean, we can say who the bottom was. It doesn't mean
It's
it's true.
it's
You
it's
know, here's the thing. It doesn't always happen
no,
the way
it
you think
doesn't
it's
always
going to
happen.
happen.
That's why I don't want to. You know, I just go into what the money winners were, and you know, I don't
Oh,
want to say.
come on. Analyze. You
It's
did all this analyzation. You gotta like, say who came in last. It's not like smoke
I
the bone, that barbecue thing we used to do.
I don't want to. I don't want to say. I don't want to say. Maybe next week I'll say if we do another one I'll say. But
All right.
because it's not there's nothing to it. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. We should see what the correlation is between these lousy projections, especially because last year I used ATC. This year I just used the Yahoo RotoWire ones because I was just too lazy. I was like, it's so easy. Like all the teams, I don't have to say, oh no, this player's on this team.
That means
You
even
know,
more about it being like not worth a shit, but just fun to see. So, I mean, why not just name the last place one?
I have the spreadsheet. I've saved the results. You know, so we'll see if this person wins it. I'll go,
Let's
hey,
let's let's put it. Let's share the screen and put them up.
I don't have that one. I've got some screens here I could save, but I don't. I didn't. I thought so little of that file. I didn't even bring it up for this. But
Ah,
so, anyways, I guess. So let me do this. So the spear is on top right now,
right?
and you and Bizzotti
Yeah, we took the collar.
took the collar.
Like I said, my pictures weren't going.
So I don't know what else can we say here. And I did players of the week. It was a half a week, and we had Mitch Garver and CJ Cron, who Gambler Spear just got from me for Ty France, and then of course he is a player of the half week. And
Mitch
we had
Garver
Wander,
actually came out of the bat, right out of the gate hitting, didn't he?
who Cron,
Garver,
Cron, or
Garver.
oh Garver, yeah. Now you had Garver last year, right?
I did, and I had Heim too, but you never know which one of those guys is going to be in the lineup. You never know which one's not going to be hurt. I mean, they both got hurt last year at different times.
Jonah Heim, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Garver
you
is
could
like
play
a.
them both at the same time if you're in the lineup at the same time. I mean, sometimes Garver DHs, but
I would imagine Garver is going to have more games at DH than catcher, right? I mean, like it seems like Jonah Heim is the catcher that
yeah,
they
I just looked at the end of the
these
day, at the end
expensive
of the
pitchers.
year. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, looking at what their OPSs were, looking at how many times they struck out, looking at their on base percentage, it wasn't worth it. You know, so they were both kind of the same player, but who knows? Maybe they get it together and they're not hurt at all this year, and they go on to be like two of the best catchers in the league. But
Well, I don't think Heim has got the offensive upside that Garver does. I mean, Garver can be a monster if he stays healthy. You know.
dude, Heim hit 20 home runs last year,
Yeah. See, I don't. I
and
guess
that
I
was
don't.
in limited
I know
time.
that he was on my radar as like a $1 catcher if I didn't get Grandal, but then I think he got kept anyway. So,
Well, let's bring up the old baseball reference.
but I know Garver was it 2 years ago. He was he hit a crazy amount of homers in a very small amount of at bats.
Yep. So Jonah Heim. All right. last year, uh, last year he had like 406 at bats in 450 plate appearances, 51 runs, 92 hits, 20 doubles, one triple, 16 home runs. So he didn't have 20, he had 16.
36, 37 extra base hits.
48 RBIs, 87 strikeouts, and a 227 batting average, 298 on base. His slugging was under 400.
Huh.
His OPS is under 700.
That's worse than
So,
I thought. That's worse than I thought.
yeah. And now look at Garver.
I know Garver's career OPS has to be higher than 700.
Well, he's already got 2 home runs this year at like 429 in the first 4 games. So dude came out raking. But anyway, last year, 215 plate appearances, 188 at bats, 23 runs, 39 hits, 7 doubles, 10 home runs, 24 RBIs, 23 walks, which is kind of patient at the plate, but he struck out 53 times in 188 at bats.
Yeah, that's not good.
Batting average 207, on base percentage 298, slugging percentage 404, OPS 702. Almost the same exact guy, except that Garver's probably got more power than Heim.
L'chaim.
Heim,
So I know. Let's see. What else we had for? Well, we had Wander Franco for baked, and Adam Duval for capital knockers. Those were two more of the offensive players of the week, players of the short week. And Duval was in the news. What did he? Was it him? I think. Yeah, I think it was him. He had a chance for the cycle. All he had to do was hit a single. So he already had the double, triple homer, and he came up. I think they were down. I think it had to be down because he hit a game-winning homer. So they were tied or down, and so he didn't get the cycle, but he hit the second homer, and it was a game-winning homer. So, anyways, I guess you take the homer, even though a single will get you the cycle.
you want to know what Wander Franco is doing so far this season? I know it's only like this is the 4th game in, but he's like 7 for 11 with a home run, batting 636, 3 runs, 4 RBIs, a stolen base.
That is not
Base
going to
percentage of
continue.
almost 700, slugging percentage of 1.182, and an OPS of 1.874 for the
Those
first
numbers
4 games.
those numbers are going to go down, Jeff.
Oh, I know, but it's just ridiculous to see a line like that at any time of the season. You know what I mean?
Well, it's nice to see because we heard about Wander for a while before he came up and how he was just like the best thing out there, and yeah, it turns out he's all right.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, they traded away Adamas for him, and he's pretty good too. At least I hope so because I got him in the auction this year. I wasn't planning to get him, but I
Yeah, I
got him.
mean, he's done well in Milwaukee. I mean, you didn't can't really go really wrong with that guy. He hasn't really sucked. I mean, I'm sure he goes through his ups and downs just like everybody else, but for the most part, the tools he's got, he can steal bases, he can do a lot of things.
So the other players of the week we had on the pitching side were my own Savale from Cleveland, and I have low confidence in that continuing. But we also had Spencer Strider, who's a little bit higher percentage play and on continued success. And then as the reliever, we had Andrew Chafin, who's not even on anybody's team because I guess he's not a closer anywhere. I don't even know what team he's on. Do you know what team he's on?
I don't know. He might be a free agent. I don't know if anybody's picked
No,
him
I
up.
mean he accumulated points, so he's pitching somewhere in Texas. I don't know. I don't know where he
Let's
is.
see here. Hold on a second. Andrew Chafin,
Arizona?
where in the world is Andrew Chafin? Sure as shit he is in Arizona.
Okay, yeah.
He looks like the reincarnation of Rod Beck.
So why wouldn't he be the closer? Because he's a lefty?
Oh my God, I should not. He looks like he's bounded down.
I think he got a lot of wins because I think he only pitched an inning and 2/3, and he got like 16 or 17 points. So
Yep.
he must
He's
have
got to
gotten a bunch of
win in 2 games. He's got to save. He's got to save and a win.
saving a win. Okay, saving a win. Yeah. So
Sheriff.
I was looking at some of the other early hitters that did well
He
that
looks like
weren't
Kenny
listed
Powers.
in our
Okay,
players
what
of
we
the
saying? I'm
week.
sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I said he looks just like Kenny Powers. And his
Kenny.
baseball reference picture, go to it. Andrew Chafin looks like Kenny Powers. Matter of fact, let me see if I can share this screen real quick with you. Does that not look like Kenny Powers? Can you
I
see
see
it?
it. Well, he's got the
Got the same hair going on, and then he's got that Fu Manchu. It's not quite the whole goatee, but
he looks
or
like he's
Rod
been
Beck.
he looks like he's been fishing at least once in his life, right?
He looks like he's been hog hunting. Thank God for Zoom sometimes.
Let's see. I had this up. The other hitters that weren't listed on our players of the week, we had Cedric Mullins with 25 points through 3 games.
Ooh.
Juan Moncada. That's Cedric Mullins is on Let's Play.
Moncada got a couple of home runs.
Moncada for the Cows in 4 games had 23 points, and had Bogarts for the Gags.
He got
Charlie
Moncada
Black,
for $8. Moncada.
who got it? Oh, the Norm.
Yeah, if he has a banner season this year, that is going to be one of the best bargains.
I think his previous salary was 73, right? So that's a nice drop for the owner.
It
Anyway,
was 73 a couple years ago. He dirty dropped him, and I think he picked him back up for like 40 something.
yeah.
But anyway, still.
And then Bogarts for the Gags, and then Charlie Blackmon for the McBrides.
That guy is how old now? He's got a.
I think he looks older. You know, he's got that big beard. He probably seems older than he is. You know, he's still
He's been in the league a long time. I mean,
he's only 28, 29.
no, he's got to be way older than
No,
that.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
He's 36.
37? 37? Okay.
He'll be 37 July 1st.
And then Satchel had Trace Thompson, who hit 3 homers in a game on Sunday, and I guess it was the only time in the Statcast era that a player has hit homers at the same exact exit velocity. This is I think this thanks to Sarah Langs. I think all his homers were 107.5 mile-an-hour exit velocities, and he hit all 3 the same exit velocity, and no one's ever even hit 2 the same velocity. So take that for what you want. But
I'm going to take that as somebody, some kind of alien parasite got into the head of Trace Thompson because he's never been that type of player. Now all of a sudden, boom, 3 home runs, all exit velocity, the same fucking exit velocity. It's almost like they put a chip in his head.
I think Satchel dropped him. So you know, if you're on another team, yeah, you hit 3 homers in a game, we're not going to drop you. I mean, for a while at least. But like, you know, it's hard to make the Satchel squad, and so you hit 3 homers in a game, you might get dropped in the next 24 hours. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Hey man, no mercy. He has no mercy. All you got to do is fly around like a seagull and pick up the shit he discards.
So you know, he has left without a trace from Satchel Squad. Okay, that was bad. Let's see.
Hey, let's take a quick break. And then we'll be right back.
Okay.